Hello, everyone. Good morning and welcome back to Sports Today. We bring you this video segment every single morning to help you catch up with things that you might have missed out on whilst you were catching up on some all important rest. Because let's face it, whilst you and I and the whole world really need sleep, the world of sport is something that doesn't really sleep. There's always something or the other that's going on, and it can be a little tough to keep abreast of every single little development. But worry not, that's what we're here for. And we're going to dive straight into an issue that has been a major talking point in the world of cricket for the last few days, whether or not Bangladesh will travel to India for the T20 World Cup or not. Now, you remember that we were also talking about that yesterday during the start of the WPL, the Women's Premier League, there would be an informal meeting of sorts between BCCI officials, and there was an understanding that perhaps the Bangladesh situation might be discussed on that during that meeting. However, now we have gotten to hear from BCCI Secretary Devajit Sekhia, and when he was asked about whether or not anything was discussed about the Bangladesh issue, he just simply said that no, this wasn't a meeting to discuss that, and after all, that's not our call to make. This call is one that has to be made by the BCCI. We were merely talking about filling a few vacancies in the COE, the Center of Excellence. So they haven't really said anything major yet about this entire thing, but of course, it is also worth remembering that yes, the remit for this doesn't lie with the BCCI. It will eventually, the final call will lie with the ICC. And also, there's another development in that regard. Now we're getting to hear from players in Bangladesh about their feelings on this particular matter, because obviously there would be a lot of uncertainty and anxiety among a lot of them. And Maidi Hassan, who's one of the members who's part of the 15-member squad Bangladesh have named for the tournament, has spoken out in the local media and said that even if you send players to Mars, they will go and play. I don't think any player has any doubt about that. Was also decrying the fact that there will be, in fact, or there is uncertainty over whether or not Bangladesh will play. And obviously, from a player's perspective, it's far from ideal to have such an uncertainty heading into a major tournament because you're in preparation mode and now you don't even know what you were preparing for, you will be playing in. And news point number three, you remember that a couple of days back, Sanjay Manjrekar had actually put out a sort of a criticism of Virat Kohli, where he said that he felt Kohli took the easy way out by retiring from Test cricket and choosing to continue in one days, which is the easiest format. Well, he's now doubled down on that particular criticism and said that, look, there's a reason I said it is the easiest format. He's saying because if you look at a lot of batters in Test cricket who are performing well, say for instance, those in ODI cricket rather, who are performing well at the top of the order, they all want to bat slightly lower down in Test cricket. Why? Because in Test cricket, if you're facing the new ball, it'll obviously be swinging a lot. You'll also be having a perspective of three slips and a gully. So it will be attacking fields, and no one really wants to front up to that. Whereas in ODI cricket, everyone is more than willing to bat at the top of the order because you know that at that point in time, there's not going to be too many attacking fields, even with the power plays. And all you're facing is a bowler who's trying not to get hit for 10, 15 runs and over. So ODIs is the easier format. And well, let's see how it is that criticism goes down because the last time he mentioned Virat Kohli, then Vikas Kohli, Virat's brother, was on threads saying that किसी की दाल रोटी नहीं चलती विराट के नाम नहीं लिए हुए, which basically translates to people aren't able to run their house if they don't have Virat Kohli's name in their mouths. Well, more cricketing news. And speaking of Kohli, the franchise that he's associated with, the Royal Challengers Bangalore, but in the WPL, started the campaign with a victory over defending champions Mumbai Indians. And it was a pretty good win, really, because it was a low scoring thriller of sorts which was basically engineered by Nadine de Klerk's all-round heroics. Not only did she take 4 wickets in the first innings to ensure that MI were restricted to a relatively lower total, but then she also scored an attacking half century to get RCB over the line. It's really one of those knocks that a lot of people will be talking about because it was really, really all-round excellence. And obviously, there was a lot big question mark over how it is that RCB would cope without the all-round heroics of an Elise Perry. Well, the clerk ensured that Perry wasn't missed too much. There's also been a lot of conversation about England's future in Test cricket and whether or not the current dispensation, including head coach Brendan McCullum and skipper Ben Stokes, will end up surviving whatever inquest is done into the Ashes. And former England international Kevin Peterson has taken the X and suggested a rather interesting name. He said it's time to bring back Andy Flower. It is worth remembering that Flower has previously coached the England team, and it was under Flower that they ended up attaining the world number one ranking in tests as well. Although whether or not Flower would be interested now considering he's got cushy gigs with RCB as well as with London Fire in the 100. It remains to be seen because, again, I don't think he may want to come back to the full-time grind of what is obviously a fairly tough job, but it's just a suggestion also from Peterson. There's no actual credible rumors right now stating that Baz is under any pressure as of yet. Switching focus now from the world of cricket to the world of football, and Manchester City have announced the signing of French forward Antoine Semenyo from Bournemouth. It was rumored that he would, in fact, be joining City because, according to multiple credible reports, he had expressed his interest to Bournemouth that he would be willing to join City and City only. And City ended up meeting the release clause, but of course, doing a deal also that ensured that they don't actually have to pay the full release clause. So it's a good business for them. They've added a talented forward to their lineup in the push for more goals because, again, this season they've really been Haaland FC. Every single thing flows through Haaland, and he's been their top goal scorer, and no one else really has come close to contribution. So it'll be interesting to see if Semenyo can plug that gap for the City. Now, more news, and there's been a lot of news coming through in other sports as well. In the sport of tennis, Arina Sabalenka, who was recently part of the Battle of the Sexes, well, she's through to the third straight Brisbane International final ahead of the Australian Open. Remember, this is the same Sabalenka who had criticized the scheduling, saying that it looks insane. Well, she's now actually made it through to the Brisbane International, and potentially a good warm up ahead of the Australian Open, which begins the main draw, remember, on January 18th. So, about a week away as things stand. More shuttle based sports news, but in badminton, bad news for PV Sindhu fans. She ended up losing out in the Malaysia Open semis to Wang Ji. Of course, considering Sindhu had previously been getting knocked out in first rounds more often than not, the fact that she even made it as far as the semis, I'd say it's a massive improvement. And I hope it's something that continues on in the remainder of the calendar year. Sports, PT Usha, by the way, who's also a key member of the IOA, the Indian Olympic Association, has said that Ahmedabad, the city of Ahmedabad, is on its way to becoming a major sports hub for India, and she praised the infrastructure that is coming up in the city. Also worth noting that Ahmedabad is being seen as the city that would potentially be in line to host the Olympics should India, go in for a bid, which they have confirmed that 2036. That is the dream, that is the ambition. Last bit of news before we call it quits, and good news for Indian chess. Nihal Sareen has won the Tata Chess Steel Chess Rapid title. Now, of course, this is a tournament that is normally fairly, let's say, it's fairly prestigious, and the fact that he could manage to win the title always a good thing, and of course ensures that the growing roster of Indian chess title winners just continues to get stronger and stronger. But that's it from us in this edition of the Morning Wrap. Thank you guys so much for joining us. As always, if you enjoy our work, please don't forget to like this video, share it with your friends, subscribe to the channel, tap that bell icon, follow us on social media too. We're on Instagram, X, and Facebook, and stay tuned through the day for more such videos and updates from the world of sport.